Welcome to the Robbins Regional Wrap, your one-stop shop for all your Houston County news. I'm Megan Western. Each week, we're taking you through what's happening in Houston County, Warner Robins, Robbins Air Force Base, and your very own neighborhood. And our top story around the Robbins region is actually still developing. Early Friday, we learned someone was shot and killed in Warner Robins. Officers tell us around 2:45 in the morning, they went to a shooting near Ignaco Drive, which is near Village South. When they got there, they found an 18-year-old man dead. Another person involved stayed and spoke to officers, but at this time, no other information has been released. For the latest on the shooting, go ahead and check out 13WMAZ.com. And in Fort Valley, an 100+ mile-an-hour chase ended and the driver was found dead in the car. Byron Police Captain Brian Hunter said it all started around 9:15 Tuesday morning. He says officers tried to pull over a car with heavily tinted windows and the driver, 27-year-old Zachary Inglet, drove off. According to the police report, the driver drove over 10 miles and hit speeds of over 100 miles per hour before crashing near the Gas and Go at 5 Points intersection. The chief says if the officers found Inglet inside the car with what appeared to be a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Right now, it's not clear whether he shot himself before or after the crash. Court records show that Inglet had a history of arrests for speeding, drug possession, and probation violation. He'd also been sentenced to addiction treatment in the past. And staying in Peach County, in just 2 years, the Fort Valley Police Department has elevated 3 officers to interim chief, all 3 with disciplinary problems on their records. Now, questions are being raised about the department's current leader and what this pattern means for the community. Carmen Brown has the story.
In 2017, Jason Randall was a Bibb County Sheriff's deputy when he was arrested on assault charges following a domestic violence incident at his home. According to case records, Randall and his then-wife had an argument, and officers found her with bruising on her body. She told investigators Randall choked her and hit her head on the floor. She later filed a temporary protective order against him. Randall was charged with aggravated assault and simple battery. State records from the State Peace Officer Standards and Training Commission says he resigned from the sheriff's office in lieu of termination. However, before the investigation was complete, his then-wife signed a waiver saying she did not want the case prosecuted. Randall later completed a pretrial diversion program, and the simple battery charge was dismissed in 2017, and the aggravated assault charge was dismissed in 2020. And in 2022, the state's Post Council, which certifies law enforcement officers, placed him on 3 years probation. A few months after that, Fort Valley Police Department hired him as a sergeant. Randall worked there while he remained on post probation. He was promoted to assistant chief in April of 2026 and then to interim chief this month. We did reach out for comment, and Randall told us, in part, quote, "That experience taught me several important lessons about gathering facts before making judgments. It taught me humility, accountability, and empathy. I strive to treat people fairly, listen carefully, and approach situations with professionalism and compassion." He also said, quote, "My focus is on moving the department forward, supporting our officers, and ensuring that we provide the highest level of service to Fort Valley." Randall became interim chief July 19th and has no other disciplinary or criminal history on his record. Reporting in Fort Valley, Carmen Brown, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, Mayor Shakina Reeves, who voted against Randall's appointment, sent us a statement expressing her concerns while interim chief Randall was assistant police chief. The application period for a permanent chief closes this week. Of course, we'll continue to follow the change in law enforcement leadership in Fort Valley as these changes come about. Back in Houston County now, an officer is being honored for his work fighting gang crime. Lucas Oaks was named Central Georgia's 2026 Regional Investigator of the Year by the Georgia Gang Investors Association. Amanda Allen tells us how his work reaches far beyond the jail cell doors.
12 years as a gang investigator, Sergeant Lucas Oaks has seen it all.
A lot of violent acts, a lot of gun charges, a lot of drug charges.
Oaks was just named the 2026 Regional Investigator of the Year for the second time. A recent survey said gangs are responsible for about 65% of the crime in Georgia. Oaks says when someone is booked into jail, he looks for specific signs of a gang.
Talking with known or suspected members or associates of the gang, looking for tattoos, looking for social media posts.
His extra effort goes beyond the bars. He created his own validation system for the Houston County Jail.
Has kind of leaked out to a lot of other agencies and departments on how to validate, how to get the required evidence to get a conviction.
And Sergeant Oak says the public isn't always really aware of how much work it takes to combat gang violence because a lot of that effort happens behind the scenes.
He says a jailer's work is often underappreciated.
We're in a building. We're not out in the neighborhood. We have to manage those inmates every day.
Oak says he's confirmed more than 1,200 gang members in Houston County. His supervisor says that work sets him apart.
We're trying to go above and beyond. There's not a lot of that going on as far as I know in this part of the state, and so we're very proud of him.
Oak says it's helping the victims who keep him locked in each day.
When we get an extra 5 years, 10 years on one of these gang charges, it's going to help that victim in Houston County, and it's going to keep another bad guy, criminal off the streets that much longer.
In Perry, Amanda Allen, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, this is actually Sergeant Oak's second time winning this distinction. The Houston County Gang Task Force meets once a month to go over local gang trends. And Warner Robins police officer Matthew Whitell is back on the street exactly 6 months after a domestic violence call turned into an ambush. On January 29th, 19-year-old Rayshawn Williams allegedly fired shots, hitting Whitell and another woman. Williams is now awaiting trial. Elizabeth Hunter caught up with him about his journey back to the police force.
I was hitting the left arm through and through. The tip of my nose got taken off. 3 in the right flank / love handle. 1 went through my right hip.
6 bullets, 6 months, 1 officer still standing.
When I was in the hospital, sitting with family and friends and everybody else who came to see me, I mentally made that decision that I wanted to try to return within 6 months.
On July 29th, exactly 6 months after being shot, doctors cleared Whitell for full-time solo police duty. He says the hardest part of getting cleared was reliving that day.
I've had to personally review my body camera footage from the day of the incident, and it's hard. It's rough.
Despite the hardships, Whitell says his goal was always to get back to the job. He says the public rallying around him showed him he was where he needed to be.
People messaging and posting comments on Facebook and everything else, it makes me feel good about what I do and solidifies that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Whitell says he doesn't take any moment for granted and won't be putting off his bucket list items any longer.
Being originally from Chicago, I really want to go back and get my favorite deep dish pizza place and get to go sit on the Chicago River. He
says he came out of the hospital as a better person, and he's heading back to work as a better police officer. In Warner Robins, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
In June, Whitell was awarded the Life-Saving Action Award by the Georgia Fraternal Order of Police for his actions on that day responding to the domestic violence call. And a Perry man was hit and killed earlier this week while walking on Highway 41. According to Coroner James Williams, 73-year-old John West was hit by a car just south of the intersection at Highway 96. The driver of the car told investigators he didn't see West walking in the middle of the road before he hit him, so no charges have been filed against the driver. And the fire department often responds to accidents like this, and whenever a fire breaks out, every minute matters. It's been nearly a year since Houston County increased the millage rate for people outside of city limits. And as Amanda Allen shows us, fire officials say it's helped cut their response times by more than half.
Captain Kevin Prater oversees all of Houston County's 8 fire stations in areas outside of city limits.
I've been with Houston County as a firefighter since 2009.
A year ago, Prater's day on the job looked a little different.
We would have to wait on a volunteer to respond to the station to pick up a truck.
Today, staffing has heated up. All 8 fire stations now have at least 1 fireman on call 24/7. Chief Stoner says this is the result from the millage rate increase made last year for folks in unincorporated areas.
Those 9 firefighters that we were able to hire enabled us to put somebody at every station 24/7.
The chief said the goal was to improve response times to emergency calls, and Captain Prater has seen that firsthand.
That has cut down on response times drastically from like 20-30 minutes to 7, 8, 10 minutes
Prater says the bigger staffing on scene can help prevent more problems from flaring up.
in a timely manner. We can control the fire more quickly to a bedroom or a room or just one side of the house.
And the chief says that extra force doesn't just give more protection to residents, it makes it safer for the men who leave this bay when they answer a call.
Having a truck on scene in that first 7 minutes, 8 minutes may be the difference between living and dying.
And the chief says the extra force meets the demand.
Approaching 6,000 calls a year just in the unincorporated areas.
Prater says not having to pull firefighters from other districts means crews are more ready to answer those calls.
So it's a huge weight off our shoulders knowing that as soon as that tone drops, someone's getting in the truck within 2 minutes and en route to the emergency.
In Kathleen, Amanda Allen, 13 WMAZ News.
Stoner says the millage rate increase has generated around $1 million in revenue. He says that the county continues to grow. That'll go towards more staffing and outreach long term. Meanwhile, leadership changes are still happening in Perry. The city just appointed their new public works director, Nathan Farrow. He recently moved to Perry after serving the same role in South Carolina since 2017. Perry's former public works director, Ansley White, resigned back in May. The city's still looking for a new city attorney as well to help shape policy decisions. For more information and the application link, go ahead and visit the City of Perry's website. To Warner Robbins now, there's plenty of lights and traffic equipment that you might not even notice sometimes. Now the city's inviting artists to turn traffic control boxes into public art. Here's Amanda Allen with the story.
If you take a drive past a traffic light, you can find these plain gray boxes by intersections. That's a traffic control box in Warner Robbins.
You can't help but see them. They lack any kind of life luster.
So the city hit the drawing board. Now, some of these boxes are completely covered in artwork. It's a part of the city's Adopt a Box program.
The Adopt a Box program takes everyday utility and turns it into a bright piece of art for residents and visitors to enjoy.
The effort is to add more beautification. So how do these boxes get glammed up? Warner Robbins artists can submit designs through the city's website.
We know there are so many hidden talents here with our residents, and so we just want to tap into that opportunity to showcase local artists.
And 9 of those hidden talents have come to light. Up and down Davis Drive, traffic boxes are wrapped in vinyl with different designs.
It's a high quality vinyl wrap that you would typically see on vehicles. Its lifespan's about 5 years and it's graffiti resistant.
And officials say it's about a 2-week-long process for the design to be approved so it can go from digital to display.
As the city continues to grow, Mayor LaRonda Patrick wants to add more murals and sculptures.
Give us identity outside of just Robbins Air Force Base. I want to uplift other pieces of what makes us exciting, grand, and great.
But beyond the beauty, the city says the boxes become a canvas for a community that's not always seen.
To really reach out to those artists who are always looking for outlets to show their talent and their skills.
In Warner Robbins, Amanda Allen, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, a grant from the Georgia Economic Placemaking Collaborative is making this possible, along with a $1,000 sponsorship for each box. City leaders say they're also working on a grant through the Georgia Economic Development to add more boxes. And coming up next, they're back. Find out how a new school camera law affects Houston County school zones. Plus, there's lots of debate about the use of artificial intelligence, but it's definitely not going anywhere. Learn about one local college's plan to help students getting ahead of AI starting this fall. Thanks so much for sticking with us. Back to school kicks off the first week of August, and local leaders are adjusting to new school zone speed camera laws. In Perry, they actually removed one camera while they adjust to new rules. Elizabeth Hunter explains why.
As cars speed by, the cameras snap away.
Once people got used to it and realized that they were going to get a ticket, it's amazing the average speed that was violating went down.
Perry Police Chief Alan Everidge says some people may not like the cameras, but they work.
At Morningside Elementary had 90 violators in 2022. In 2025, they had 0. People have slowed down because they know they're out there.
The cameras in Perry fall under a bigger statewide change, with new laws forcing cities and counties to adjust how these devices are permitted and used.
Georgia legislature changed the wording of the process of photo enforcement for school zones.
Everidge says the new statewide rules require local governments to take over camera permits from the school district. He says the law also has new requirements about where the cameras can be located. Everidge says they'll remove cameras near Perry Middle School due to the requirements.
If it's on a 4-lane highway, unless there is a crosswalk or a crossing officer there, photo enforcement is not allowed.
Everidge says he's worried drivers may start speeding again in that area once the cameras come down.
We'll be back out there in the uniform and also doing it, trying to slow people down.
Everidge says the law also requires all cameras to have warning lights, time limits, and no ticket citations to people driving less than 10 miles an hour over the limit. In Perry, Elizabeth Hunter, 13 WMAZ News.
Now, starting in 2027, the new law says local governments cannot enter into or renew new camera contracts unless voters approve them. In Houston County, one graduate will start the school year celebrating as teachers attended opening session this week. The county's Teacher of the Year was named. Last year's winner, Amber Washington, passed the torch on to Miss Brianna Walker, the 2026-2027 recipient. Walker teaches art at Perry High School and was surprised to receive the honor.
A complete shock, to be honest with you. I'm so happy to be able to represent all the fine arts teachers here in Houston County, as well as representing my school, but I love being able to share the importance that the fine arts have.
Now, there were 5 finalists for the honor. The district also honored a support person of the year on a school level and district level. And artificial intelligence continues to spread in our everyday lives. A recent International Business Machine survey found more than 40% of companies worldwide already use AI. And now Central Georgia Technical College wants to get a step ahead. Elizabeth Hunter explains what the certificate program offers to students.
It constantly changes, and if you want to stay on the forefront and learn, you need to kind of stay active and involved.
Artificial intelligence has climbed the list of things to learn to make yourself a more competitive job candidate.
It's something new, and it's something that I feel could help me do my job or help me in my everyday activities.
Central Georgia Technical College says their new AI certificate puts their students ahead of the game. Dean of Business and Computer Technology Sabrina Swan says the program is a direct response to the rising need for AI skills across industries. She says employers like Robbins Air Force Base say they look for workers who can handle the new tech.
They're always interested in what we are doing here at Central Georgia Tech to maybe incorporate or improve or share some of the skills that we're teaching our students that could help their workforce.
Swan says the certificate is 10 hours and features 3 classes that focus on AI prompts, AI practices and principles, and AI ethics. She says the certificate targets all knowledge levels of AI use.
The group that may know a little bit more, but they need to fine-tune kind of how they do their prompts and search using AI. And then we're also interested in that group of students. They've never worked with any kind of AI tools, and to kind of give them the opportunity to see that it's here, but it's nothing to be afraid of.
Swan says they don't have final enrollment numbers yet for their certificate, but academic advisors report high interest from students. Want to know what's happening across the Robbins region? From Christmas events to chess class signups, we have you covered when we come back. Welcome back. It started with the teaser last week, and now we know the official free concert lineup for this year's Georgia National Fair. The list includes country music group Lone Star, pop band Hanson, Christian music group Southside Worship, country singer Daryl Worley, and rock band Fuel. The final 4 performances include Southern soul artist Tucka, singer-songwriter Jesse McCartney, country music singer Tracy Byrd, and finishes up with Rumba Latina. Now, the fair runs October the 8th to the 18th. Of course, these concerts are free with the cost of your ticket admission. And we're less than 150 days away from Christmas, and Warner Robbins is accepting entries for the annual Christmas parade. This year's theme is Dreaming of a Red, White, and Blue Christmas, and the city says they invite you to celebrate holiday traditions, hometown pride, and the values that bring our community together. Registration is going to be open until the midway point of November. The parade is going to be Saturday, December the 5th, so go ahead and mark that on your calendar. You can find more information and register for the parade at the Visit Warner Robbins website. Alrighty, and before we let you go, let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening across the Robbins region. Rigby's Water World is heading into their weekend-only schedule. From August 3rd until September the 7th, you can still go out and lay in the sun and cool off in the lazy river. Take a look at the hours here on your screen. Saturday, they'll be open from 10 in the morning until 6 p.m. On Sundays, they'll be open from noon until 6. And if you have a kid who loves chess, you can sign them up for classes at the North Houston Sports Complex. Spots are limited, so don't wait until the last minute. Their intermediate level classes are starting back August the 10th. It's open to kids ages 7 to 12, and these are going to run until August the 31st. So there's only 4 classes. It's going to cost you $35 for kids who actually live in the city. Sign up now at the website that you're seeing here on your screen. And don't forget, every Saturday, the Perry Farmers Market is bringing you fresh local flavor to Ball Street. This year's round market features a variety of locally grown and handmade goods like seasonal produce, honey, jam, flowers, baked goods, even some crafts from local vendors. Find them year-round at that address on your screen, 1000 Ball Street. They're always there from 9 in the morning until 1. Alrighty, that's a wrap on what's happening throughout the Robbins region this week. If you have a Houston County story you want to share with us, go ahead and email us at news@13wmaz.com. And make sure you keep coming back each and every week to get all your Houston County news and the stories that matter to you. Thanks for joining us.